Good day, A, and welcome to the latest episode of Smart and Vinyl, where we're going to talk a little records, a little music, and a whole lot of mess. So, I know, big news, episode 40. Not that anyone watches it or cares, but, I mean, I didn't think I was going to make 40 of these episodes, and I did. So, thanks for watching. Now, as you can clearly see, we're going up to the Great White North for this episode, but this episode's a little special, and I thought that's why I'd bring it out for the 40th episode. This was my very first Smart and Vinyl episode that I ever did, and you can't even see it because I took it off YouTube because it was terrible. Not that the rest of my videos were great, but it was really bad because it was like the first video I've ever made. So I took it off YouTube. So I thought, let's just redo it for the 40th. So, anyways, let's just get into it, right? So we're talking about Bob and Doug McKenzie. It's the Great White North. Now, if you don't know who Bob and Doug McKenzie are, you shouldn't be watching this video. But anyways, they are Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas. And these were characters that they did on SCTV. That's where this started from, and just, you know, like any show, there's like the Fonz or whatever, there's always like that takeoff. Get it? Anyways, there's those characters that like take off. So that was Bob and Doug McKenzie. So then they went on to make a movie, which I'll get into. They hosted Saturday Night Live, I believe, and were around quite a bit in the early 80s till it like petered out. And Rick Moranis went on to do bigger things like Ghostbusters and whatever. But they did make this album, I guess at the peak of their, 1981. So this came out in 1981, and it's a comedy record, although there are 2 songs on here at least. And I mean, there's more. I'm just saying it's a comedy record, not a music record. So anyways, this was released in 1981, and it sold 1 million copies. And I most of it was Canada. Well, 350,000 of them were in Canada. The rest were here. But it went to platinum, triple platinum, I think. So that's pretty impressive for a comedy record. It did go to number 1 in Canada, and the album went to number 8 here in the United States. So that's pretty good too. I mean, you know, for this comedy record, you know. But they did have, I guess, 2 hits off of here, and the biggest one was Take Off, like I said, which I'm sure you heard. And if you haven't heard Take Off, you need to go hear Take Off, because it's not just Bob and Doug, it's also Geddy Lee, also a fellow Canadian. And fun fact, okay, I love these fun facts, right? Fun fact is Take Off is Geddy Lee's highest charting song, more than anything Rush has ever done. And if you don't believe me, go look that shit up, because it's true. Rush's biggest hit was New World Man, and I only went to 21. Take Off went to number 16. So, I'm just saying, you know. I know everyone's like, what do you mean? Rush only had, their highest hit was New World Man and blah, 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 and what about Tom Sawyer? And then, look, I have 3 letters to talk about that describe that. AOR, okay? That's why you think Tom Sawyer should have been higher and it wasn't. But anyways, that's a whole other video. So, Take Off really took off, you know, and that went to, number 16, I think, here on the Billboard 100. And then they also had the 12 Days of Christmas. That didn't go as high. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big, that song's fine. It's fine. Take Off's a lot better. But the rest of this album is just like comedy, sketches, things like that. It's clearly they like their beer, you know. And that's all it was, really, was when it was on SCTV. They would just sit there and drink beer and eat back bacon and discuss their topics. And it was always, you know, shit you talk about sitting around drinking, right? Stupid shit. But it hit a nerve with the crowd, and just it went up from there. So anyways, but this album is special for another reason. And do you hear that train? I know. I live. Oh my God. They say, oh, you know, once you live there, you get used to it. I've lived here almost 10 years, and the train still, I don't get used to it. But anyways, sorry about that. So anyways, this album's also special for another reason, which I'll get into right now. So I remember buying this just because I didn't have it. It was over $5, whatever. I'll spend $5. And we're at the record store hanging out. And my friend's like, I'll put it on. I'm like, hey, let's listen to Take Off, and then we were all like, hey, hoser, or whatever, So anyways, when he pulled it out, we were like, oh, look, cool. It has the original sleeve, which is great. We can take a look at, it's the hoser, the Daily Hoser, and then on the back, it has more. And then, so I thought that was cool. And then, let me see. I thought it had the merch sheet in here. Oh, I do. Sorry. I do have the merch sheet. I'm like, wait a minute. So, and I was really impressed that it still had the merch sheet in it, right? So, you can get shirts, poster, bottle openers, toques, which for you northern, or, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Americans, it's like a beanie or a hat, but in Canada, it's toques. So you can order toques, you can order all kinds of stuff. So that was pretty cool that it still had, I was impressed with that, right? I'm like, wow, it still has the merch sheet. But now this is going to blow your mind. So we're going through the record, or we went to put the record away. He goes, wait, there's more in here. I'm like, what's in here? What more can be in this album? Well, there's some stills from their movie Strange Brew from 1983, which is, pretty cool. But look, they're signed by Bob and Doug McKenzie. So I will read it, and as much as I want to read it like they do, my Canadian hoser accent, and it isn't nearly as good. It's going to come across sounding like Surfer California Girl, but I will try. So anyways, here's what the autographs say, and I'll try to post it right here. So the guy's name was Uzi, U-Z-I, right? So it's to Uzi. Okay, so like, I heard you and your buddies at, now this word, I thought it was Tower at first, which made sense because maybe they were doing like a signing at Tower Records, but it's like T-O-U-D, Towed? I don't know, I can't read that. But anyways, so it's like, okay, so like, I heard you and your buddies at Tower are like a bunch of hosers, right? So like, you guys really know how to party, eh? Okay, so like, good day. And that's from Doug. That was Doug. So, and then Bob's is to Uzi. So like, that was the dumbest thing Doug could have written to a hoser. Anyway, so like, Uzi, when you get a chance, write to us and tell us like all about Israeli beer. Like, because I heard they make an awesome kosher draft, eh? So take off, you hoser. Your good buddy, Bob. So that's fucking amazing. And this album came out in 81. The Strange Brew movie and album came out in 83, which I'll talk about in a minute. So he must have, maybe he didn't have that album at the time, so he only had this one, Uzi, and then got the stills maybe at a signing. Now, I did my research. I could not find any Bob and Doug McKenzie signing in Los Angeles, Hollywood, either in 1981 or in 83. But did you know that January 18th, 1981, Mayor Tom Bradley of Los Angeles declared it Bob and Doug McKenzie Day in Los Angeles. So I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. So now every January 18th, I'm going to drink some beer and eat some back bacon. But they had like a reception where they had beer and back bacon. But I thought, well, maybe like they went to Tower afterwards and did a signing, but these are from Strange Brew, so he would have had to get these in 83. So there could have been, and I just can't find anything online about it. But the fact that I have these legit Bob and Doug McKenzie autographs that I found in a record for $5 is pretty amazing. And it's great that, both Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas wrote as Bob and Doug McKenzie on here. So yeah, that, like, finding stuff like that in an album is super rare. Like, like I said, even I was impressed by getting the merch sheet, so the fact that I got all of that was pretty cool. So this album, it's not rare. Like I said, it was triple platinum, so you can probably find a copy of it. I do see it out and about, oot and a boot. But anyways, yeah, pick it up. I mean, it's fine. As much as I love Bob and Doug McKenzie and SCTV, it does get a little old listening to the record, so I would say do it in spurts, but definitely download Take Off onto your Spotify because it'll really improve your day. And Getty's great. The album, their song is great. And I'm not a huge Rush fan, but I do respect the fact that they're all good dudes and they seem to have a really great sense of humor about stuff, whether it's appearing on this or Alex was on Trailer Park Boys. So yeah, don't be a hoser and make sure you pick this up because it's pretty good. So my next album is, I was talking about, technically it's the soundtrack to Strange Brew. So Strange Brew was their album that came out in Strange Brew was their movie that came out in 1983. So this album came out in 1983. But it's considered the soundtrack, but there's not a lot of music on here. Like it says on here, it's excerpts from the original soundtrack, right? And then it's a lot of dialogue on here. There's dialogue, sketches. There is some music. So it's actually technically considered a comedy album. And I think when it was nominated, it was nominated for Grammy or something for Best Comedy Album versus a Soundtrack. Although technically it's supposed to be the soundtrack to Strange Brew. But anyways, so Strange Brew came out in 1983. It was their take on Hamlet. And of course, it has to do with beer. Max von Sydow was in it, right? I know he just passed. So this album, unfortunately, didn't come with something super cool like that other one, but it did have the original jacket. The record's in a different one. So it's the Daily. Is it the Daily? Oh, this is the Daily Knob, not the Daily Hoser anymore. So this movie was okay. It's not one of my favorite comedy movies, but it's not bad. If you like Bob and Doug McKenzie, go check it out. I do like the dog in the movie. But this one record, it's okay. If I had to pick between the two, I would much rather get the Bob and Doug McKenzie Great White North record versus this. But this one's actually more rare. They didn't make that many of it, maybe because it wasn't quite a soundtrack and it wasn't quite a comedy record. It's long out of print. It wasn't released very long. So this one is a little harder to find. I've never seen one out and about except for this one. I did look online just to see, and there's 3 on Discogs, but only 1 here in the United States. The other 2 are in England. And the prices aren't bad. I think $25. So if you see it, I'd get it. Like I said, just for the rarity aspect of it. But go see the movie. I think you can still get it. It's aight. Certainly worse movies out there. The only other stuff I have, vinyl-wise, for Bob and Doug McKenzie is I have 245s. I do have 12 Days of Christmas. This is a promotional copy, not for sale, so I don't think I'd buy it. But anyways, and then I have Take Off. And I used to have a picture disc of, not picture disc, but picture sleeve of Take Off. But I gave it to an ex-boyfriend a long time ago. And so I just never think about getting it again. So anyways, that is it for my 40th Smart and Vinyl video. Like I said, by all means, if you don't know Bob and Doug McKenzie or haven't gotten into that, or SCTV, by all means, check it out. I also reviewed the Count Floyd album videos ago, so check that one out too. That one's all music though. There's no comedy on that one. So anyways, that's it. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. And that's it. So thank you for watching all 40 Smart and Vinyls. Yeah, I will say I think they've gotten a little better now that I kind of know what I'm doing. I still don't, but I do. And that's it. So as long as I have records, I guess I'll talk about it. Not that anyone watches, but for those who do, thank you. Thank you for your support, like Bartles and James. And thank you for watching Smart and Vinyl. I'll see you next time.